Boy, I sure didn't want to do a video about this, but I guess I have to. Joe Biden, the other day on CNN, talking about climate change, when his eye filled up with blood. And it's a little worrying. Look, man, Joe is an old dude, and I think I'm not trying to be mean, but I think Joe needs to step this one, he needs to stop. He's really old. I know Trump is also not too much younger than Joe Biden. So I'll say this. Look, I mean, it's bad enough Trump is as old as he is running for a second term, but there's a difference. Joe Biden seems to have trouble speaking. Okay, his gaffes, some people are calling it what's it called, like sundown syndrome, where later in the day, his brain isn't working too good. Joe should be relaxing. He's served his country. He was vice president. Tremendous respect to anybody who serves. It doesn't matter about politics. I think people, deserve respect when they're trying to do the right thing, regardless of whether you agree with them or not. But now Joe is just old, and I'm going to show you the photo right now, all right? I hope you're ready, and then we'll read a little bit about this, because I don't know. They have a really, really long story about Joe's eye. But, yeah, I think there's a bigger photo. Oh, whatever. Well, there you go. His eye filled up with blood. I guess it's like a burst capillary. And I don't think it's actually that big of a deal because it can happen. It happens to a lot of people. I don't think it's that uncommon, actually. But it's just another sign. It's another grain of sand in that heap of Joe is just too old for this. Now, for the longest time, I thought the strategy with Joe, and it may be the case, this is my theory, the reason they're having him run is because he captures a lot of that Obama energy. A lot of people who want more Obama might vote for Biden. But then what they do is they have him on stage and they have him get taken down by the newcomer. Have you guys seen, this is a really good point. I don't want to spoil the movie for you, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. It's not a big spoiler. But in the beginning of the movie, they make the point that this guy who used to be a big famous TV star, he keeps playing the bad guy because what the shows are trying to do is they want you to see the old dude being taken down and replaced by the new guy. That's the point. So I thought they were going to do something similar with Joe. Have him come out, have him be the front runner like he is, and then within a few months, he's going to start getting taken down by the new upstarts, like Bernie or Elizabeth or Kamala. And we saw that a little bit with Kamala when she went after him. And she really, really, okay, hold on. In the first debate, Kamala Harris went after Joe, and it worked really, really well for her. In the second debate, she kept trying to do the same thing twice. Well, no, don't do that. Don't do that, okay? It worked. Try something else. But she kept trying to go after Biden, and that's why I think that's their plan. Biden has no intention of running to the end. He's going to drop out at some point, and this is just another example of this dude is not capable. I'm sorry, man. Again, I'm not trying to be mean because the dude's old, but come on, At a certain point, you need someone younger in there. So let's read a little bit about this. They talk about his eye filling up with blood. We get it. The 76-year-old former vice president has long faced questions about his age during the course of his campaign for the Democratic nomination. In October last year, before formally entering the race, Biden said that age is a totally legitimate thing to raise. I think it's totally appropriate for people to look at me and say, if I were to run for office again, well, god darn, you're old. Well, chronologically, I am old, he said. Every voter is entitled to know exactly what kind of shape you're in. You owe it to them. It's a legitimate question, and so I think age is relevant. In the past, Biden has had some serious health struggles. In 1988, he had to have emergency surgery because an aneurysm burst, as reported by the Washington Examiner. A few months later, he had a second aneurysm burst, which required Biden to take 7 months off from working in the Senate. They literally had to take the top of my head off, he said later about the operation. Doctors removed a benign polyp during a colonoscopy in 1996. That I didn't need to know. Thank you, Daily Mail. In 2003, Biden had his gallbladder removed. He also suffers from asthma and allergies and takes a prescription drug to lower his cholesterol. He also has taken medication for an enlarged prostate. Biden hasn't disclosed his medical history since 2008, when doctors found he had an irregular heartbeat. Should he win the 2020 presidential election, he would be the oldest president ever to be inaugurated. Okay. I think after reading all of that stuff, which was a bit too much information in some capacities, I don't know. I feel like this guy shouldn't be running. Bernie Sanders, I think, is like the same age too. So come on. Something's really going wrong, I gotta admit. When the Democrats can't muster any young upstart, there's something wrong with the charisma on the left. And I think this plays into everything I just talked about on the main channel and all of these past segments about comedy. Think about it. Think about the idea that the left can't meme. What does that really mean? It means they can't, there's no charisma, there's no humor, there's no inspiration. When people look to Joe Biden, do you think they're thinking to themselves, man, I really want to be like that guy? I don't think so. So I got to sneeze. I'm fighting a sneeze. Give me a second. But I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Bill Clinton or Barack Obama. Somebody said the American dream is to be Donald Trump. There are a lot of people who look up to Donald Trump and think they want to be like that guy. Rich, tall, successful, beautiful model immigrant wife, says whatever he wants. He talks about grabbing women, you know, the whole thing. People look up to that. I'm not saying he's a good he's of good moral character or that I look up to him, but you got to admit people do. How many people do you think look up to Joe Biden? I'm sure there are some, but Joe Biden is the B tier 2012 candidate. Obama is the guy people are probably looking up to, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden was the guy who couldn't make it on his own. He became the vice president. I'm sure the same is true to an extent with Pence, but Pence, I'm not trying to be mean. Again, he's got a little bit more dignity going on because Joe Biden is an old guy who gaffes a lot and then his eye burst, like right on stage. And it's just, you know, I feel bad because I think Joe has done his job and it's time to bow out. And I feel like he should, I can't believe he's running, to be honest. But let's read a little bit more. They say, Biden, who served as vice president under former U.S. President Barack Obama and was senator from Delaware for decades, leads the pack of 20 Democrats seeking the party. We know all this. They say he's positioned himself as a pragmatist. We get it. But Biden has stumbled in public statements in recent weeks, confusing details of a ceremony honoring soldiers and mixing up the names of states that he had visited, among others. While he has long been known for making verbal gaffes, and in some circles is almost beloved for them, Democrats desperate to unseat Trump worry that the verbal misfires will make the 76-year-old seem too old to take on Trump. Seem too old? Even though the two are in close age. That's true, but come on, man. The dude just had a vein pop in his eyeball on live television. I think you combine all these things, and it's about time we say, take it easy, brother. You're done. And also stress this point, too. Whatever my opinion is on what he should or shouldn't be doing, think about how this is going to affect voters. You think voters are going to be like, that's a guy I'm going to vote for? No, they're going to be like, this dude's too old. Biden joked about his frequent verbal gaffes on one television show while laying out plans to combat climate change on another Wednesday night. A high-stakes balancing act aimed at shoring up his lead among Democrats seeking their party's nomination. In an appearance on the CBS program The Late Show with Colbert, Biden pretended to confuse Colbert with another comedian and talk show host Jimmy Kimmel, provoking laughter from the audience. I think it's fair to go after a political figure for anything, Biden said. But here's the deal. Any gaffe that I've made, and I've made gaffes like every politician I know, has not been about a substantive issue. That's not true, dude. Like, I'm pretty sure it is a substantive issue when you're talking about what state you're currently in. All right, let me stress this point. Okay, I get it. He's talking about policy positions. Okay. He did say something like, you know, we care more about facts than the truth, or some ridiculous, you know, statement. But I think it's really important for the president to know where they are. Yeah, I mean that seriously. I mean, could you imagine if Joe Biden went to Saudi Arabia and thought he was in Egypt? That could be really, really bad because he might negotiate the wrong thing. He went to one state and thought it was a different state. I don't know. I feel like that's substantive. To keep his lead, Biden must persuade voters not only that he is strong enough to battle Trump, but that he's serious about taking on important issues that Democrats are passionate about. During the CNN town hall on climate change, Biden was one of 10 Democrats taking questions. We get all this. What are they even writing about at this point? Look, the main point is the dude's really old, and we know he's old. Why did Biden's eye turn red? Okay, there we go. They say as he turned away from the camera, blood in his eye was easy to spot. The Mayo Clinic, a U.S.-based medical center, says the most common causes of red eye are conjunctivitis or burst blood vessels. Very clearly a burst blood vessel. The former complaint can be caused by allergy, no. Red eyes can also be a side effect of eye drops. No, it's very clearly blood, man. Why did it happen? Mr. Biden appears to have suffered from a subconjunctival hemorrhage during his interview. There we go. This is an innocuous condition which occurs when one of the small blood vessels on the surface of the eye leaks and generally resolves within 1 or 2 weeks. No treatment is required. There is often no underlying cause, but if an individual is experiencing this condition regularly, a blood test would be advisable. And this is the point I was making, right? It's probably nothing, but it is alarming to a lot of people. They say coughing or sneezing symptoms commonly associated with allergies and experienced by asthma sufferers could have been the cause of this. Other causes include stress or raised blood pressure. Less common causes are diabetes or the side effects of some prescribed medication. It could be that he's about to go on CNN and he got nervous, but I really doubt it. It could just be that his blood pressure is really high. All that really matters is here's a dude who's probably too old to be running for president. And I'll say straight up, the same is true for Bernie Sanders and Trump. However, Trump doesn't gaffe so much as Trump just says whatever's on his mind, and he doesn't appear to have, like Bernie Sanders is old, okay? But I look at Bernie and I'm like, yeah, okay, he's not bursting blood vessels in his eyes or failing to speak properly. I just think they're all too old, man. But Biden is the one who probably should bow out of this fight. Whatever. Look, I think every Democrat would probably agree at this point. Anyone who's paying attention, especially on Twitter, even people like the Young Turks and conservatives, I'm going to have to say I think there's a unanimous vote among politically active people that this dude's probably, it's time to go chill, man. Anyway, stick around. I got a couple more segments coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.